From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
The tallies coming in from the Bridger Foothills fire on the number of homes lost. We will update you on that in a moment.
When tragedy strikes, you have two options. You're either running away from it or you're running straight to it to help those in need. I'm Annie Johnson with the full story coming up.
Right about 6:30 on this Wednesday. Chet Lehman, Matt Elwell with you here. We've talked about that Bridger Foothills fire blowing up because of the weather on Saturday. These cooler days we've had with the moisture, a relief, but it hasn't stopped that fire.
No.
It's given crews a chance to get some fire lines built for the fire.
Or at least working their way around. Remember,
Yep.
the terrain is really treacherous. It takes a little
Absolutely.
bit of care, and it's nice that it's not raging, so they're not
Correct.
rushing through that.
Correct.
Humidity's up right now. Temperatures are down, but it does look like we're going to build back into the 80s as we move over the course of the next few days. 20s and 30s across the area. Likely that you are waking up to a layer of frost on your windshield this morning. We've actually got fairly clear skies for most of the area. You see a little bit of cloud cover in the valley. Also looks like maybe a little smoke in the valley as well. It's not a surprise as we have a southeast wind trying to kick up around the area. Temperatures into the 60s today. Look how crystal clear and beautiful that silhouette is in the mining city this morning. Hope you're enjoying your day. Again, it is cold to start the day. Temperatures continue to climb. We're going to take a look at a lot of aspects of our weather forecast. That's all coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. 6:30 now. The losses from last weekend's Bridger Foothills wildfire starting to be tallied. Over the weekend, Gallatin County Sheriff Brian Goodkin says dozens of buildings had been lost. He now has a number, at least for the permanent homes. He spoke at a fire meeting last night.
We did get a count. We lost 28 residences, permanent residences, a lot more other outbuildings. We don't have a count on those. But I can tell you this, there would have been a heck of a lot more than that if it weren't for our firefighters.
Yeah, those firefighters literally putting it on the line to help save as many homes as they could. By the way, still limited access to the burned area. Bridger Canyon Road remains closed to the public from Boylan Road to Brackett Creek. Starting today at 10, Bridger Canyon will be open for residents only in that area, again from Boylan Road to Jackson Creek. Jackson Creek will be fully open between the interstate and Bridger Canyon. Now, residents should stay off the road from 7 to 10 in the morning and 6 to 8 in the evening. That'll allow fire crews to shuttle back and forth from their work. There are still dangerous hazards out there, burnt trees, possibly ignited propane tanks venting. For more information on that, head on over to the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office Facebook page or simply call 211. Also, there is a meeting today to get help organized for those who have losses due to this fire. Southwest Montana COAD, which stands for Community Organizations Active in Disaster, coordinating with law enforcement, emergency management, and the Forest Service. What you're seeing right now, again, is that video provided by Dr. Rob Maher from MSU. It shows the perimeter of the Bridger Foothills fire. Now today, 8:30 this morning to 6:30 in the evening, agencies will have tables set up with information and resources. That's at the Haynes Pavilion at the Gallatin County Fairground. But again, this is for only those directly affected by the Bridger Foothills fire. Well, recent wildfires throughout the state are a reminder to always be prepared for disaster. September is National Preparedness Month. In the past couple of weeks, wildfires in Montana have forced hundreds of people from their homes. Red Cross says you should have a disaster evacuation plan, know what to bring when you do have to leave.
Make sure your family knows that plan, you practice that plan. We also encourage you to build a kit, a first aid kit that has things like extra medication that you might need if you have to leave your home for a long period of time, cell phone chargers, important documents.
Now, for more on a preparedness tip, check out our websites. Well, when one Bozeman woman heard about the Bridger Foothills fire was happening, she immediately thought of the animals, and she went into action. MTN's Annie Johnson brings us a story of hope out of a heartbreaking disaster.
It's been 4 days since the Bridger Foothills fire broke out just north of the M, and with the fire comes devastation and great loss, but it also gives the community a chance to come together and show just how selfless people can be.
We were told by police officers that no one was going to come up and get us if we got trapped, so we knew the danger walking into it. We weren't trying to risk anybody's lives, but we also just wanted to get the animals and get out, sort of a thing.
On Saturday, 24-year-old Teresa Ball knew there were horses and other livestock in danger as the fire was quickly spreading and immediately jumped into action.
A call from a friend, and they didn't have a trailer to get them out, so we knew that there were some loose horses up there, so we decided to go down Jackson Creek to look for them. And as we went down there, we met a bunch of people on the way, and we got a bunch of halters and just started walking down the road.
And because of her act of kindness, Teresa and her friends were able to save countless horses and livestock that may have been caught in the fire.
I really just hope that it shares a positive message, and they know that, you know, there's a bunch of us out there that maybe don't live on Bridger Canyon Road or Jackson Creek, but we're all ready to help and jump in if need be, and honestly, you know, ready to do most anything for everyone.
And Teresa only used the resources she had.
There was ash and embers falling, and it was pretty crazy. It was super surreal. And, you know, in a way, it was kind of nice that we all had masks from COVID, because we just kind of put our masks on and tried to limit our exposure in that way.
There are several ways you can still help victims of this fire by donating to the Bridger Foothills Fire Relief Fund. Reporting in Bridger Canyon, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
6:35 now. In other Montana fire news, local officials confirm the Bobcat fire south of Roundup has claimed numerous structures. Officials say 10 homes, 13 secondary buildings have been consumed. Assessments are still being performed on the total damage. The fire, which began 7 miles southeast of Roundup, is now considered 50% contained. Cooler weather over the last 2 days has greatly reduced fire activity as firefighters work to cool hot spots. Fire's edge near additional structures. There is currently a total of 387 personnel assisting on that fire. Cause, meanwhile, still under investigation. And a wildfire reported Tuesday near Missoula. It's north of the Lost Trail Wildlife Refuge. It's grown to 75 acres. The Valley Creek fire was first reported about 1:30 in the afternoon. Montana Department of Natural Resources and Conservation reports that fire burned through grass, brush, and timber, grew from its initial 4 acres to 75. Fire personnel are trying to slow the blaze with aircraft and with a dozer. No structures threatened, no roads are closed at this time. Cause of that fire also under investigation. Well, you may have seen the photo we shared with permission from Bill and Sally Feniger Friday, the loss of their home in the Bridger Foothills fire. Yesterday, Gallatin County Sheriff Brian Goodkin replaced that flag. Photo he sent is an emotional and powerful one, adds some respect and hope, and of course some resiliency to that whole thing. That's pretty spectacular.
It's really powerful to look at those photos.
Amazing stories coming out of it. The folks rescuing livestock, the firefighters, you know, literally standing in the way of that fire to make sure that as many homes as they possibly could save. Just an incredible effort. And it's 34 degrees outside, and there's still a crew of nearly 200 people out there doing it right now, making sure that the fire doesn't get any further away from us.
Still hear the aircraft constantly.
Absolutely true. 6:37, amazing stories coming out of that. We're going to take a quick break. We come back, a hiccup in testing for one of the new coronavirus vaccines, what it is and how it could hold up production, coming up. But first, let's check in with Anthony Mason.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS this morning, strong winds threaten the fight to contain dozens of wildfires in the West, where thousands are evacuating. Hear from people who needed to be airlifted to safety. Also, Dr. Anthony Fauci will join us. We'll ask the government's top infectious disease doctor if he thinks there will be a coronavirus vaccine before Election Day. Plus, his concerns about spikes in cases on college campuses. And Chef David Chang finds happiness outside the kitchen. The James Beard Award winner tells us about taking risks and reprogramming his personality. He's got a fascinating memoir out. All that coming up when we see you at 7.